Hi there, I'm Ellen. Welcome to day 9 of Vlog Every Day in April. Today's topic is Offworlders, or Otherworlders, or extraterrestrials, aliens. This is a topic that for me I find a little challenging. It used to be a lot challenging. And the reason that it's challenging for me, even still in part, is because I definitely have some resistance around fully acknowledging and accepting that aliens, extraterrestrials, could land on Earth and communicate with us. What's really interesting about how challenging I find that is the fact that there was once a time where I wasn't sure about spirit guides. I wasn't sure about angels. I wasn't sure about elementals or ascended masters. And it almost feels like this is sort of my last quote-unquote barrier of belief. And I feel that the reason for that barrier of belief is that there are connotations with aliens that are, they aren't evil, and yet they aren't necessarily something that I associate with friendliness or for the greater good, let's say. And what I'm talking about is when we hear things like alien abduction and the people who share their experience, it doesn't seem to be a pleasant one, and there's some fear associated with it for them. I think of Betty and Barney Hill for an example. And because they chose to share their experience, and perhaps it was because of the era in which it occurred, and also the area in which it occurred, which was right here in New Hampshire, there was certainly a lot of feedback that they received that was disruptive to their lives, right up until the time they each died. So there's that. On the flip side of that, when I watch movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977, E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial from 1983, I believe, Contact from 2016. There are qualities about those three films that I find, one, believable, and also two, hopeful. Because even with Close Encounters, yes, there's a large element of alien abduction, and yet what happens at the end of the film? Those who were abducted are returned. They are unharmed. They haven't aged a day, which, you know, is that a good thing? Is that a not good thing? I don't know. And yet, those who return them are curious, gentle, and possibly could be construed as compassionate, helpful, perhaps. With E.T., what was E.T. and his people? Botanists. They were studying Earth's plant life. And yes, there was that fear factor with E.T., the fear factor being the unknown. And yet, in the end, a boy and his family were changed forever in a most wondrous way, and no harm came to anyone. And then there was Arrival. And Arrival once again shows an aspect of helpfulness and reciprocity in a really fascinating and emotional way. And then more. I'm not going to get into too much because that's one, if you haven't seen it, I really encourage you to see it. Really, really encourage you to see it. So when it comes to aliens, Offworlders, Otherworlders, as my guides call them, they call them either Offworlders or Otherworlders. What is it about them? We notice that in this instance, understand that, yes, you can say they are not of this world, and yet neither are angels of this world. Neither are your spirit guides of this world. They are of another dimension, as are the Offworlders, Otherworlders. And so perhaps it could be that it is only a matter of the perception as to what is to be accepted, what is to be believed, what is to be feared. Okay, so that was a message from my guides, and I so appreciate that because that's the way I've been feeling and challenging myself to really look at where my fear stems from around this topic, around the barrier of belief, and to choose a different perspective, perhaps. One thing that has helped me a lot was reading The 3 Waves of Volunteers and The New Earth by Dolores Cannon. I'll put the title to that below in the description. And wow, yes, definitely a different perspective and a very hopeful perspective. And also I found it remarkably emotional at times, how I responded to the potential, the possibility that was offered up through Dolores's words and interviews and insight into Otherworlders. So I'll invite you to do as I'm doing and really consider your beliefs around that. And also at the same time, consider your beliefs around the other things that I've mentioned, around ascended masters, angels, spirit guides, elementals. What are your beliefs? When did your beliefs change from being perhaps a non-believer to a believer? How did that feel? What was that transition like? What did it take? And what might it mean to broaden your belief system to incorporate Otherworlders? Okay? Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video interesting or helpful and would like to see more, I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel. And until next time, you take really good care. Lots of love.